And honestly, this is a nice big 3. Alright, so we're live on all platforms that we need to be live on. So, I really have nothing else to say. Let's get to the puzzle. Let's see if we can get locked in, if we can get our career high. I was doing some as a test to see if this actually worked. So, yeah. We're doing this as a test. Oh, one thing I do see right now as I'm looking at it, you actually have a lot of things in the top of the screen. So what if I drag this down here instead? Okay, and then it's blocking me a little bit. Okay, we're almost there. Sorry, it's first time. Let's just make this a little. Wow, okay, I'm not smalling it. Oops. Command C that. So let me grab this one. Just move it over a little bit. And then, alright, now that looks better. Okay, so let's go back here, go back to the puzzle side to make sure you guys could see what number we're on. Because you could not see it because there was stuff in the top. But for this puzzle, this is a free queen. Okay, we got the first 7 done. The castle. This is a free knight, I believe. Yeah, I mean, that's just free. Okay, so this next one, we're 8 for 8, 9 for 9, and then we're going to be 10 for 10. So a nice start. Obviously, I should get this far, but it is good, to nail these down. This is checkmate. We get to 11. All right, next up, and moving the rook down here. There is a mate with the rook going here to A8, taking on B8, and then taking on D8. All right, next up, here you're going to sack your queen because the bishop's guarding the king's escape square. Next up here, what I would imagine is at some point you have a check that wins one of these 2 pieces. So let's say you go here. They can only go up. So that's why I think it's here, up, and then like here. Not that way. Here and then here. And then take the bishop of check. Let's go to this next one. The queen slides over. This is just a mate in 1 here on E7. Alright, now we have to figure out a way to force a mate. Here threatens mate in 1 2 different ways, right? You're going to go to H2 with however you do. Going queen here is a check, but going here is a check, and you win the queen sitting here on G8 at the end of it. Alright, next up, the rook slides over. Okay. So if you capture, the queen has to take, right? So let's say take, queen takes. Then take, king takes, and then knight takes. You win the bishop at the end. I think it's full exchange is happening. And you take here on D6, and you take here. I'm not sure how you save the knight, but that's it. Alright, the rook slides over. What I'm thinking we can do now is move our queen over here to H7, right? Just taking this, and that's checkmate. So their pawn pushes forward. If your queen drops down that way, you have this check attacking the king, and the king can't actually get out the way. So I believe you're going to go here, and that's checkmate. We got the first 20. Got the first 21 is that's check. And move with the queen, I would have taken the queen. Alright, the pawn goes down. I believe it's rook up for checkmate. Alright, their pawn slides in. This looks... It's not free. Okay, so let's say you take. They take. You take. And then, yeah, I think you just take the knight. And then you can just take the bishop, I believe. And you're going to be winning. Alright, the bishop slides in. What you do have here is this queen check. And this knight's guarding this. And the knight's hanging when you go for this check. So if they go back, you would then take the bishop here. Ooh, bad arrows. So if you go here, they bring their knight back. You're going to take the bishop here. And if you go here, they go pawn 4. You can just take. If they take, you have king or rook capturing the bishop back. So I think it's queen here to A5. And in this scenario, you just take the knight. And now you only have one safe move because you can't stay on this diagonal because of the... Oops. Again, bad arrows. But you can't stay on the diagonal because of the bishop move. And you can't go there because the queen takes. So I think you have to go queen back here to B6. Let's go to this next one. This should be a mate in 2. So the first check, I believe, is queen here to F1. You're going to attack the king. If they move over, I think queen here to D1 then would be mate. Let's see if that's correct. Check. And then mate here as you're stopping the king from moving. Their king comes forward. It looks like there would be a mate somehow. My thought is you have this check, take, check. They can only go back and then down, right? Because they can never go forward. I think that is it. Take. And this is actually checkmate with bishop back here to F8. Alright. They have their rook sliding up. Now, what you need is your rook there on H1 at some point. But it matters the exact move order. So I believe you need to give this check first and then bring the rook down here to H1. That's crazy. What's going on, Ant? We go here, check. If they move, and then rook down here for checkmate. I believe here. I appreciate those likes there, Ant. But yeah, check. Rook down here to h1, and that's it. Alright, their bishop's going to slide here. It's a remove the defender. Capture, and then queen captures here. Alright, we have the first 28. Can the rook go down, check? They go back, and then knight here, checkmate? I believe that is mate, right? Check, and then knight here, because they can't go over because of the knight. They can't move, and they just need to be checked. And that's why that's it. See if we can get the first 30. We've actually done this exact puzzle before, I'm pretty sure. With here, it doesn't work because the knight can take. But if you take this instead, and then go up, and then they have queen over check, you got bishop up, but now you take the bishop. And we got the first 30. We appreciate these likes, Ant. We're closing in on 300. So the bishop slides in for this check here. If you just take it, you up a minor piece. And then they can't take your bishop because their rook's hanging in the corner. So I think this is just it. Yeah, because if they were to take this, you had this take. So you just capture the queen and then go bishop up for the pin. I think that's it. Because see, take here, bishop here, take. You just take in the corner. So yeah, capture. And then bishop's going to go for the pin. Alright, here you know there has to be some type of mate idea. So you either go... No, I guess it would have to be rook down then. Rook down, they could block. You would take, they'd go up, and then you just go back for mate. And then if you go here, they move up, then this is just checkmate. So I think it's rook down. Alright, they move with their knight. If you take with the rook, I think the problem is the bishop can block check. When you take with the queen, the bishop can no longer block check because you have checkmate here, right? And we got that one correct as well. Let's go to this next one. Their pawn's there on b2. Okay, if you capture there on b2, is there anything with that? I don't know if there is. If you take on g6, 60. Yo, what's going on, Southern? How you doing today? What happened? Yeah, if you take there on g6, you're looking to attack there on f7. I think that would, yeah. Then they could guard, and they're going to take this. But I guess if you go here, and they do queen, you have here. But the king can move there. So maybe you do have to take the pawn, but I feel like that would not be it. Congratulations on that. Congrats. Do you have, what's your next goal, I guess? What's your next goal there? Because I'm trying to get all of mine to 20, what is it? 2200, because my bullet's way higher. I got to get the rapid and the blitz up. I got to move them equally. I'm with you there. It's definitely more satisfying versus just going into one. And I realized that looking today. But I think Q captures G6 has to be the idea. I just don't get why it works. Let's see. Let's do the material count, actually. Right now, if you just take the pawn, you'll be okay. You'll be equal material. If you take that, they take your rook. You take with check. The king moves. Check. There's no forced mate. There's no forced mate. But doing this seems way too slow. Because then they also could just take. Right? And then just take and then they're safe. So let's say queen captures. They take this for queen. You would take check. They'd have to go over. Check. But once they go up, there's no follow-up, which is the problem. That's why that actually doesn't work there. If the knight captures, man. I wonder if it's just this and it's supposed to be super easy. You just take the pawn and you go from there. Because I just don't see a way after captures, captures. Yeah, I don't see how this works. Captures, captures queen. You're down a rook. Back, and then they have a queen as well. Check. They move. Check. They could just go back eternally. Okay, that is. Yeah, it's just taking the pawn. All right. That seems... wow, that was easier than I thought it was. But yeah, there's no way you could do anything with the rook there, unfortunately. But the king's there on g3. For this one, if you threw your pawn to h4 first, and then Meech, appreciate those likes there on TikTok. If you go to h4, attacking the king, they would have to either take or go king here. And I think king here runs into mate. So you know that if you push, it's forced king captures h4. Now, after that, if you were to check, they could just go back. So that's why that's that move. Oh, but then you could give another check if they go back in again. Okay, so I think it's here, take, check. Now they could go back, but you have this other check. If they go in, back there to h4, how do you get a checkmate would be the problem. There's no mate in that way. So what if you go queen? Because they can't really check you that much. If you go queen to f4 first, if they take the pawn on h, then queen g5's mate. So if you go qf6, their only check is rook d8. But I guess qf6 they could go f4, and then the king's no longer really trapped there. So I think it is h4. So h4, king captures, queen slides over check. King goes back, queen e5 check. But even after, I guess QE5, they could also just go F4. So I don't, yeah, that may not work that way. I appreciate all the likes we're getting on TikTok. We're closing in on 700 already to start the live off. I'm going to have to take a bit of a guess. I mean, there's bishop here, but I don't think that's... Oh, what if it's... Okay, I think it's this take here. They're forced to go back, and then you go bishop here. Because then the rook can't come down, you can take there at the end, I believe. On D, yeah. It's here, and then it's queen over. They go back. And because you're guarding D8, you can go bishop here now. And then if they take, you're taking guarding the rook. I think that's it. Because there's no mate. There's no mate because they have F4 at the end. But this does thread in mate because if they go up, that is mate. Let's see if I'm right. QF6. And now this is the part where I was stuck, but I think it is bishop c2 because QE5 runs into the issue of it just not doing anything. Like after here, they go up, rook here, they could just move because you would take, and then you're just in an equal position for the most part. I guess you want a bishop, but I feel like that's not the way to do it. No, it's not. Oh, it's not that. So what were you supposed to do instead? Let's see. Up. It is queen e5. What did I miss about that? I saw that part of it. Down. Oh, yeah. But yeah, take. Oh, you win the bishop at the end. That is why that works. Not because of the queen, but you do win the bishop. I already got that one wrong. We can only get 2 more wrong before we get out on this one. So this one's just mate in 1, I think. QE5, yes, you're right there, Greek. It was QE5. I think rook captures here for mate in 1. Yeah. All right, next one. Their bishop's going to slide over. We're at 34. There's a pin happening right here. Could you go knight up? Attacking. And then you just slide over the bishop because you're attacking the queen. I think that is it. And then you want to slide over here taking and just take this. You're up this minor piece. All right, they slide in with their knight. Now, if you take this, the king has an escape square, but knight here, there's no escape square. All right, their king slides over. There's a check, but the king can move out the way. So because of that, I'm a little hesitant to do it that way. If you check, the bishop can only go to b6 though. So maybe that is it. Maybe. Oh yeah, I think it is it. I think it's knight here, because if they go over, there's mate in 1. So if you go knight here, king moves over this way. Bishop here then wins because they can't slide to attack the rook. So let's see if that's right. Knight move, and then now they don't go that way. So rook captures here for mate in 1. Alright, they're going to take this bishop. Do you just take the queen is the question. So if you take the queen, their bishop slides in, right? With check. And you would be... Oh, this rook's also hanging here. Wow, this is... Okay, I gotta think about this. Think this through. Right now, we're down some material. That's the problem for the time being. If you take the queen, bishop captures b4 check. Could you go c3 after? I feel like c3 would have to be the move after. Because if they take with the bishop, you take with the knight. They take your queen, you take your rook. Yeah, I think you could just go c3. Here. And then up, if they capture, you capture the bishop. Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. No, they don't go that far. Alright, their pawn goes down. You see that you have this advantage on the king. You have this control of the diagonal. They have 2 pieces that are guarding that square besides the king. So because of that, I don't think that would be the idea. If you just check over... Oh, then you could just go rook captures back, actually. Yeah, and rook captures. And they can only blockade, and then that's still mate, right? Take. And yeah, they just can't go to the b file, unfortunately. Alright, we're going to have our rook slide down, taking with check. And the king has no way to escape upwards. I guess they could go upwards. So maybe it's rook captures first then. But then the knight can go back. So I think it is this. They move up. Oh, maybe it's discover it check wherever, and you're going to win the rook in the corner. It could be that. Yeah, because this rook moving over just doesn't work because of knight back. So that's why I think this is the first move. Alright. Now the second move, if you go rook over, though, and they take, and you take, then you can actually... Like, how would you win material? Because your rook's hanging at the end of that. Oh, what if you go rook d8 after? Because if you go rook d8, then the king is sitting there on d2. And they can't go rook e5 or d4 because the bishop's back there. But I guess if they just move out the way and you take the knight, rook e8's checkmate. So, it probably is rook d2. And I have to figure out the rest of it. So if you go rook d2, the king takes the pawn there. Oh, you can take the knight. Yeah, you just take the knight there on d5 instead of taking the rook. Yeah, because they take the rook, they go here, and it looks like rook d8 works. But if you ever take that, like say they moved out the way, they have rook e8 checkmate. But what you could do is capture this, and you're still up the material, and they can't take that, right? Yeah, that's correct. All right, move their pawn forward here to a5. Honestly, I think you just take the knight with the pawn there. They take your queen as rook captures a1, because you would get 2 rooks in a piece for a queen, which is winning and is what puzzles want you to do. So we're going to go for that. I'm like 99% sure. Yeah, alright, then you go here, and you take the rook here in the corner. Alright, they're going to move their king. They're going to try and win this. I'm not even try. They're going to win that. The only move that would work, I guess, is g4. So let's say g4, king x g4, d3, rook down. Oh, and then if you go d2, rook over, and knight f2, yeah. And then you go here, and then you go up. Because you have a knight to f2, if they were ever to take that there. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, the h-pawn takes here. If you move your queen in, you're closer to the king a little bit, and you're up a queen. You have a queen for what? 2 pieces and a rook. So honestly, they won the exchange here. So you have to figure out a way to close this out. If you just go up to h3, I don't know if that works, because if you just go h3 and they then go g3, then how would you ever? I guess h3 g3, qx g4. And then you're threatening mate in 1, and then if they were to go f3, you could go qx g3 the second time. So maybe it is h3 because of that. And then they can't just move their king over, because you could just take king takes, then qx g4. What if they... I think that is it. I think it's just h3. h3, king forward, queen captures, g3, king... or qf3, rook g2, qx f2. They get over, check, up, check, and then you take... Okay. So yeah, I think it is up here then. If they go up, you just take. If you go up and they push, you still just take. Because you're looking to slide in this way. So if it's up, push, take, rook over, you can still check, up, check here. There should be something. I think qg4 doesn't work. Because if you go qg4, why doesn't it work? Maybe it does work. If you go queen up, could they just go up here? But I guess here you're still... I don't see how both of these aren't winning. That's the problem. This seems winning and this seems winning. But one of them is not actually winning. And I think h3 is winning. Because if you just take here... But they just can't... They can't get their king out the way. Like, you would still be able to go h3. Maybe it's here. And then here. But then you capture. I cannot convince myself there's a difference. I want to go with my gut. No, it's the other one. Okay, let's see why it is the other one. Take... so it's not actually a mate then. Why doesn't this one work is the question. If you go to h3. What did I miss there? So if you go h3. Oh, f3. That's a pretty simple miss too. Yeah, and then you can't slide in at all with f3. Okay, so this next one, we have 2 wrong. So we have to get this next one correct here. Their pawn goes forward. If you take the knight, you'll be up material. Honestly, why does it not just take the knight? I don't see why you can't just take there. If you capture on b5, the bishop can't capture back. But for it to be that easy, and then Arcane, appreciate these, all these likes, closing on 1,000 there on TikTok. But I do think you just take the knight there. Unless there's something I'm missing. Because they can't slide in to any infiltration squares. Alright, we're just going to take this. And if you go here, take... Maybe the problem is there's this... Oh, I see. Because there's this happening. So that's why I think it's queen all the way down. And then if they take, check, king up. And they can't check you again after that, I believe. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, because they can't go down because you could take in the... It's not moving the defender because the knight is guarding there. I think it is queen back. No, it's not queen back. Let's see what it is. Queen a5 is your guess there. Is it qa5? It is qa5. Why does queen not back here not work? Oops. Q here. Okay, this actually does work. You're not losing, but you're not winning, though. You could have kept the win if you go Q to A5 instead. If you go here, they're saying the best move in response is they still have to take. And then you just take here, and you have 2 minor pieces. Alright, let's restart as we stopped at 42 this time. If we get higher this next time. And appreciate all the likes again. We almost hit 1,000 there on TikTok. Let's go restart this here. Best today is 52, so let's see if we can beat 52. Alright, knight slides in. The first couple are pretty obvious, I'd say. This is going to be mate in a couple, but eventually you're going to slide over. Knight in, the king can't move anywhere. Mate in 2 after taking the rook, the pawns acting as a deterrent. Checkmate here, taking. Mate here. Mate here because of the bishop's guarding the queen. Alright, now for this one. This looks just like a free bishop. They take, you go rook down. I think that's it. Yeah, and rook down here to c7. Take. You're plus 3 points of material. Okay. You can capture this because the knight can't move, right? Because it's pinned, and then you take the queen here on d7. Alright, next up, checkmate in 1 here. Next, queen here, and you look to win the rook. Because there's not a real mate that I can see, at least. So I think you just need to win the material. Taking here on b, and then you just go king down. Only legal move, so you know what that one is. Rook overs checkmate in 1. You could capture and then win the bishop back. Let's see if there's something else, though. I think you just take here and then rook here to d7. You're going to win the bishop that's sitting here on b7. So capture, rook down, and you take this. Alright, next. There's going to be a sack of the queen here on d8. You're going to take here. That's nice. Capture. They can only move there, and then you go queen down for mate. Because this is the only legal move is to block. And then you have mate here on f2. Alright, they push their pawn down. So they're going to get a queen. You're guarding an important square. So let's say you go check. They go back. Check. Down. Can you just bring the second pawn quick enough before they can promote? Okay, that's the first move. Now, I'm pretty sure you'd have to go here again. But I guess if you go here, and they move their king back, and you go here, they could just go back. And they're guarding the square. So maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not that. Because check, they move their king forward. Were there any way to administer a check to them? No, because you're guarding that. Yeah. I think about this one for a second. King forward, up. Check, up. Down, down. Maybe I'm overcomplicating this. Knight going here doesn't work because they just move out the way. And this is too slow. So I think it has to be another check, and I just need to figure out the other part. You give this check, they can just go king back up. You move your king. They could finally push. You could go up. They could go down. And your king is too far away to promote in 2 because you go up, they promote, and then you have to go down to anchor it. Maybe you could deflect after that happens. I think you'd have to deflect after, right? So here, and then you go here, maybe here, and they go down. Up, they'd go down. Okay, king's going to move. The king can't move backwards. It can move up, though. So if you go king here, they go pawn up. Go king here. So here, here, here. They would have to... I really don't see this. And this is like not supposed to be that difficult. Can you go again after they move? Can you stop them? Maybe it's here, here, knight moves, pawn down. No, the knight's too slow. They promote before anything could happen there. I don't see this. King up. They could just push the pawn down. And there's no check. Wow, why is this the 16th puzzle? No, not there. Here, here, here. I need to guard this promotion square. So I'm not understanding how you would be able to stop. Maybe it's just push. It is just push. Okay, so what's the rest of it though? Can you go up? Oh, I see it. It's here, and then it's 94, right? I believe it's 94. Because now you have to go up. They would go back. Then you promote. But then if you go here, and then they push, you could go here, down, check. But then they take that. Check. Oh, it's check. Check. But then take. So it's not check. Dude, why am I tripping on this puzzle? If you go knight here to e4, this pawn hangs here. So that's why I think it's just d3. You just go here to d3. They have to go back. They don't have to go back though. Here. And you're not setting up anything. They could just push the pawn forward. Is it push forward? If you go, I might get the 16th one wrong. d3, they can't take. What if they just go back? Or no, you could go up, they just go down. But then if they go, yeah, that wouldn't work. Because you could check then, here, check. And okay, so they would have to, if you go up, they would have to go back. You go king. Oh, I think it's because it's mate. Yeah, there's mate. That's what it is. They were promote. That's why I was so confused. I want to show that. Because when you push, the problem is, if they were to go back, right, it's knight d1, knight b1 as well. But if you go up here, oh no, you just go knight here. But no, there was something else. If they go, oh yeah, it's here. Then you still have knight b1. Okay, I thought you could get your king there and close enough, but knight b1 would have stopped it. All right, we got it right. I'll take it. It took a while though. Luckily, it is not timed. But the knight's there on h4. Hopefully this one's a little easier for me. Okay, maybe not. If you give this check, the king would has 2 squares to get away. So it probably has nothing to do with that. You could then... Huh. There's another one that I'm not exactly sure where you're supposed to go for it with this. Right now the material is pretty level. Could you move your queen over to b7? But that feels like that doesn't do very much, honestly. We're looking over here. Taking this doesn't seem that smart. Honestly, yeah, it doesn't make that much sense. Check. King moves. Oh, wait, you could... Oh, I see. It's check. And then you have the queen sliding in and you take there. Alright. Alright, we're back on track. They move over. Alright, okay, we're back on track. Bishop here. They move over. Check, over, and then checkmate. Here, here, and then here. Alright. It took some time. We're rolling now. Take this, and then you have bishop moving, I believe. And then you're going to take this. Alright, so this next one, the queen's going to slide down. If you slide in, check, that probably is just it. Because they could only move here, take. Yeah, that's just checkmate. So queen forward, and then, alright, 20 for 20. We're making up for lost time there on that middle one. Let's go queen here to h4. What's going on, A? How you doing? A236. Yeah, queen. Sorry, I was really locked into that puzzle. It took some time. It took some brain power. But QH4, I think it's a... Oh, not I think. It is a check. Is it the winning move, though? Because they just move their king down. Oh, I get it. Because there's this bishop move. So if you go here, and they go back, check, take, check, taking the queen. Oh, the queen can't take there. Yeah. The queen, but the queen could go back here, though. Oh, then you could go up, maybe? But then they can go up. Okay, maybe I don't see it. Check here h4, I'm pretty sure is the first move. Now, if they go back, you just have a pin. So I wonder, is it here, back, check, take, check. Oh, queen back, you just take the rook. Oh, okay, I get it. Here, and then here, and then here. And it's not to do with checkmate, which I was trying to find the mate. It's not a mate. You just take the rook here on d2, right? Because the queen was defending it. Now, if you go up, they can actually defend. If you go here, they just take your queen. So I think you just take the rook here. Let's go to this next one. They take the center and the center on d4 there. If you slide over, they have this. What if they go up to b4, though? Oh, no, b4, the bishop's there. Yeah, that's what it is this, I think. Here, they move over. This is checkmate. And then the problem is you have two pieces that guard this square. You take with the bishop, you now allow king over, so queen's going to capture instead, and then knight's going to drop back for mate. Alright, they castle to the queen side on this one. We could have the queen sliding in for check. They slide over, and then knight captures, forcing them to sack their queen. Then here. Alright, feels good to get a couple right quickly. I think queen just slides up. Knight's going to take the rook here in the corner. Alright, next up, the rook slides over. Capture, capture. Oh, I see. Take, and then you just take this. Because if you take this first, then they take back. So you take with check, and then you take here on b8. I go to the next one. Their pawn slides forward. What I'm seeing here is simply bishop here to a6, because if they slide over, or if they try this, and they thought of sliding over, they can't because of the bishop. It's a better way to phrase that. And if you go rook down first, then they could just move their king in, and you can't go there. So you go there before they can stop you from moving there. And then you bring your rook in, and that's going to be mate. Are there knight slides in the center? Equal material right now. Ah, okay. I think it's knight captures here, check. Whatever they take with, this is then hanging, and then taking, and then that's taking. So you would be able to save the material. If you do anything else first, they can take attacking queen. It's order of operations initiative, so you wouldn't be able to win any material. Well, let's see if I'm right, though, and then I can explain why I'm right. But I think you take, yeah. Now, what's weird about this is you will have an open king. The problem is they'll only have a queen that could really do anything, so I think you can just take this. Yeah, and this is the issue, but you'd still be fine. But I'll go show that a little bit, why that works. So the problem is, because it's check, whatever they do, like it's removing the defender tactic. I don't know if you heard that, like if a piece is guarding something, you're just taking it away, and you're checking the king, and you took it, so you're +3 momentarily. And as you saw when the queen takes, if they can't do this, which would be good, and then if you were to do it the other way, that's probably what I should actually show. If you were to just, I guess, take here, it's saying there's a few different things they can do. Here attacks back. I thought they could have taken this. I guess they can't take that. Is that because it's still check, though? Yeah, that's the problem. But yeah, you have to take with check first in order to do this type of tactic. Alright, let's go to this next one. Here. We're sitting at 27. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher. If you capture the knight, I think you could just go up to d5 after. What's going on, Ali? We're playing a lot less. Most of my ratings drop. Oh, yeah. Man, we have a daily game going on right now, don't we? I don't remember who's winning in it. But I've been playing some more Rapid. I got my Rapid up to 2100 on 2 accounts for the first time. But I play with viewers, so I have it not today, but I usually do. I used to do only viewer tournaments, but I was asked to switch it up some. So today is a puzzle day. But usually I host viewer tournaments exclusively, but no, not today, extorting. Yeah, I think you can take this. No, take this with check. And then if they take, then you just go up. I don't think they can stop d5, whatever they do. So take with check. Similar to the last thing, a check is the one move that makes them do something. Catch you later, man. Thank you for tuning in. What am I going to? So that stream will probably be in 2 days. Because I have 3 types of streams I do now. Like this, like a puzzle only. And then I have a like rapid climb or rating climb. And then I do viewer tournament. So that was yesterday. So it'll be in 2 days from now. Probably. And then like towards the end, when it's less people, I'll probably do that if someone wants to. But right now, just the puzzles. But yeah, 2 days from now, I'll definitely have it. It's like viewer tournaments the entire time. It was like 5 hours yesterday. And you go up here to D5, I believe, and you're just winning that. And then Tommy, thank you for those likes there on TikTok. And you just go up, and you're looking to win that. Yeah, and you just take. All right, next. I think you can sack your rook. My rapid rating, it's like low 2100s. I have two accounts, and they're both, one's 2122 and one's like 2115. I don't play it that much, to be fair. It's probably a little bit higher, but that's like the general range I'm at. I think you can take rook slides over, yeah, and then rook here to h8, and you take the queen. And you actually win the bishop there with queen h6 at the end. This one's made in one, I believe, with q here to d5, and they can't move anywhere. So here, there, yeah. Alright, next. They slide their king out the way. This one, I'm a little confused on. Because if you take bishop back, there's no knight move that does anything useful. So rook takes, bishop. Oh no, okay, if his rook takes bishop back, bishop takes, then the king can move, sadly. I don't know if that makes sense. Oh, okay. It's so I think what it is, it's here, and then they can't move anything to block. Actually, I think it might be easier to just show this. Because there, they can't move over, they'd have to take. Here, you take with check. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is definitely easier to show. So the reason that we're... let me finish the puzzle first to make sure I can get it right. I believe you just take this, right? You just take the rook with the queen. Okay, so I'm going to show that for a second. The reason you can do it that way... I hope it's useful, Z. Hope it's useful. But yeah, you can take... and then the queen's down. So the problem is they can't block anywhere on f7. You have 3 pieces guarding it. Even though this knight's hanging, they don't take it because you have a check. So when they go here, you have this rook sliding in, which is why it's... and Tommy, again, appreciate all these likes, which is why that works so well. And nothing else works, because if you were to take here, it just doesn't work. After they capture, there's no more attack. Which I was looking at it first, like, how can you do anything? You're down all, like, what? A rook completely? Like, there's no mate, so you knew you had to get something that's forcing, and you take, and then it's actually still mate in 7. I don't know if I would have found mate in 7 here, but I would have checked for a little bit. At the very least, you're back equal material, and that's week 2. So let's go to this next one. We got the first 31 or so. This one's a bit simpler than the last few we've done. I think that puzzle number 15, or what is that? What puzzle was that? Puzzle number 15 or 14 was harder than this one. But bishop h6, you have this check, they just slide over and there's mate. And then if you go here, they block. Here, and they block. You still could just take there on e3, and you'd be fine. They couldn't do anything after that. Yeah. Alright, bishop h6, bishop captures, and then rook just slides in. Alright, so there, bishop slides in. This is one of those tactics. Oh, no, it's not this. Oh, is it? It's queen takes on g2. Because you're attacking the rook. If they slide over, you have the bishop anchoring the queen there. Yeah, I think it's just qx g2, and then capture, and then capture. Alright, next one. Their knight slides in. I think it's take, up, over, take, up, over, and you could queen. Let's see if that's right. Here, and you can't take back, actually, because you saw they're 1 square away from catching you on this side of it. If you stay here, if you go here, they can actually catch. You'll see here, up, here. So you have to go to a4, and then a3, and then a2, and they're 1 square away, so they can't quite get there in time. All right, their queen slides up. You could go ba6, but that doesn't seem like that does anything at all. That doesn't seem, yeah. I feel like that's not very useful. If the knight captures in the center, not very useful. So what is useful? Rook e8, no. Is there a sack? Can you sack here? And if they take here, then you could take that. Or you could take the bishop there, but the problem with that is it's not forced. You could go here, the king just slides over. So you're kind of in the same spot. Well, let's see. If it were to be bishop captures king over, is there anything you could do from that? No. This will be the only move that I could see that does anything. The problem is it's not forced. Like, if it's not forced, then it's not that good of a tactic. And then bishop a6, and then like a5, I think also runs into e5. If you go rook e8, I mean, there's just still nothing you can really take there. Bishop captures. If the king slides over, then how could you do anything at all? If the king slides back over there to d1, bishop captures f7, king d1. Your pieces are so limited. That's why I think it's you just sack. Because no other piece can really move. Like this rook, it's obviously not going to be this rook. The queen, I'm going to bet it's probably not the queen, as the queen can only make 2 moves. Right, so I'm guessing it's probably not that. What I would love is to somehow get this pin. But the sack also doesn't work. Like, that's one thing I'd play. But maybe it's sack and then Q here. So then they can't push. Yeah, you go for that. I don't understand why they can go over, though. That's the part that I'm not getting. If they just go over, then this doesn't work. I need to see that for myself. Like, I got why that made sense. And appreciate these likes there. I think Queen over Drench ran into... We can actually go through that, too. Why can't they just go here? Is what I don't see. 8d5 is actually the move. What if they go up? Then is rook e8. Oh, sacking the knight because of rook down. Okay, that's pretty insane. That's pretty insane. But yeah, Q over. I think the problem is they could just take. Yeah, they could just take. And then now you have a kind of messed up pawn structure. Alright, let's go to this next one. I think it's a rook sack. So if you take with check here, it's double check. So they have to move their king back. And then you could sack here. And they can't move there because of the pawn. So you know they would have to take back. And then... Ooh. The only thing is your queen's under attack. So that's a problem. I was going to say just you go queen over. Oh, you could go queen up here to h4, replacing where the... Yeah, okay. And you can't go back or over because you just get taken on these diagonals. But queen here, they can't do anything. And then qh2. Are the rook slides in? I think this is just mate. You could take, they go over, and then rook f1 mate. Yeah, they can't block it, and then rook down. Alright, next one. The king slides up. If you go up, they go up. The rook is definitely trapped. I think that's the problem. The rook is trapped. Maybe it's f3, and you still have this, because they just go up, you just go up. Yeah, I think it's f3, and then c3, and you just take the rook. Alright, let's go to this next one. The bishop goes here to d5. So what did they take? They took a knight. Okay, so we're down a minor piece. You could take on g5 check, and then knight captures d5. But thanks for joining in, BT. Do you do a lot of puzzle rush? Yeah, I think you can just bishop captures g5, and then it's you just take the bishop on d5. Let's see if that's right, because this is check. Okay, well you have to check again. That's the whole point, is it has to be checked, so you can't just drop back. And then knight can take. Yeah. Alright, next one. I'm seeing some type. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, bro? How are you doing today? I think if you go here, we're doing some puzzles right now. I think you can see, because I made it for YouTube too, you can see where I'm at. We're on 39. This is the 40th puzzle. Let's see if we can make it 40 for 40. If you capture, they take knight back. Just taking the bishop seems kind of absurd. But that could be it. That could be it. Take if they go up. You just win the material? But I mean, it being just winning a pawn, that seems like that should not be the idea. Because of knight g5. But nothing else works, I'll say. There's no other idea. Like, if you move the knight, they just take. And I'm trying to see if you can do bishop captures. But then they can just go king f8. But they'll king f8 now. If you take king f8, I still feel like that's the move. I feel like that's the move. Let's see if it's right. That is the move. I'm seeing the tactics. I need to see why the other things don't work, though. Because I don't understand why I couldn't just do something else. Alright, I need to look at this again. I keep pausing. You think as well? Yeah, I was thinking it's this. And we both are right. What if they just go here? Okay, then here. Can they not just go back after this? Because they're not down. They're only down a pawn. I guess their queen's just so weak. Ah, okay. It's not a winning tactic. This is just a winning position I have to know. So there's no checkmate. And there's not mate. But it's +4 being up one piece of material. Very interesting. The rook slides over here to c1. If you move the queen down, what's your record for this, Rav? If you move the queen down, there's nothing there. If you move your queen up here, oh yeah, I think just queen up here. Right, because this is forced mate. This is mate in 1. They'd have to push. So it's like here, push, and then here. Another thing they can't really stop. And they don't have a check despite them being a move away from something pretty useful. Yeah. Alright, they move their pawn forward here. I would guess it's queen here to h5. qh5. And then if they go here, I think you need to go bishop here. And if they go over, you slide for mate in their face. I think that's what it is. Queen here. And you can't move the queen back. It won't work because they could just go back and then here and then they blockade. But bishop h3 I think does work because you're checking. They have to go over and you can then go q to f2, f7. Puzzle Rush. Yeah, this one's, I'm doing Puzzle Rush right now. I'm trying to get my highest. My highest is like 54. Or I think it's one off whatever it says the highest is. Because I got helped one stream a lot. And I didn't do really any of the puzzles. I did some of them, but not enough to say that I really did get that number. But the second highest all time I did do by myself. Let's see, if you take the bishop. Oh yeah, I think you just take the bishop. Queen captures and then g5. There's no way that's it though. Is that really it? If you, yeah, because right now equal material. If you take queen takes, you go up. They can't take because you'll take the queen there on f3. What elo? So do you mean over the border online and then what time control? And if you take this, queen takes, and then g5. No tournaments today, Yash. Not today. Those will be in 2 days from now. Because tomorrow's a rating stream. And then the one after that is the tournaments. Yeah, so I guess it's like not the next stream, but the stream after that, it'll be back to tournaments. Around 50, yeah. It gets really difficult once you get in the 50s, man. My like rapid or blitz, okay, not over the board. My rapid and blitz are both basically 2100. I'm pretty sure. What's going on, Dane? Player too lazy. Hey, you can join along, do them yourself. You know, you won't be able to draw the arrows. You can do some visualization training here. Blavid Dane. Okay, I thought I was reading that wrong at first. It is saying Blavid, but you can. I think it is just take, and then they move, and you go up here to g5, and that should be it. What's going on, Jazzy? Thank you for those likes there on TikTok. Yeah, and then let's double check. g5. They take, you win their queen. Can they attack the rook? I don't think they can. I think it's just g5. And you take this. All right, let's go to this next one here. Clash. I've never played Clash Royale, so I won't be able to, unfortunately. If the queen slides here to c2, you're looking to win that. It's something, this knight's weak. That's the point of this. The knight's weak right here. So somewhere, if you take this, oh, can you trap the queen? I guess, oh, you could take knight here, they move back, and then you take with the fork. I think that's it. How long I played chess for? So I played from 5 to 14, so that's 9. And then 18 to 21, so like 12 years-ish. But different levels of intensity, though. Not today, Eba, not today. We'll have those in a day or two. Yesterday, we did have tournaments for about 5 hours. We had a long stream. I guess we did like 30 minutes of puzzles. Like 4 hours of tournaments yesterday. We'll have them a couple of days. To get back up. What's your rating sitting at, Watermelon? Is that Watermelon? How did you get that? That seems pretty unique. Oh, no, that's the top part of it. Not your actual thing. But here, take knight. The queen's hanging. I think that's it. And then you take here with the fork. Alright. The queen slides over. You could do QX H7, attacking the king. They'd slide their king over. Check over. But then rook E1 doesn't do anything. Bishop D5 doesn't. You just lose the bishop. Oh, you could go. Well, QE8. They could go bishop F8. I feel like that's the right idea, though. It's QE8s here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Rob. Because it was one stream, the people viewing were like, dude. Like, they were talking to me, like, switch it up a little bit. Like, it happened because I was doing puzzles and had, like, 60 viewers, and everyone left when I went to tournaments. And they were saying stuff they'd like to see. I'm like, I gotta listen to the viewers. They're the ones watching. Like, I'm not watching it. QF7. So QF7, I think, runs into the bishop taking. And then QE3, we're the white pieces on this one, so we can't go QE3. If you mean QE6, same problem. I think it's QE8, though. Like, that's my guess. Because if you just take on H7, what's going on, Yonder? I'm having a pretty good day. How's your day going? But if you take on H7, I think it doesn't work. Because if the king just slides over, you could go queen down, check. Wait, there, down, check, up, check, over. Yeah, you just can't mate them. Because Q captures H7, king F8, QH8, king E7, QG7. Oh yeah, but then if king goes to E8, rook E1, they can just block everything. But then you have, I think that is it actually. It's kind of hard to explain, and I could be wrong, but I think it's here, here, here. They go up, you check. They go down, you check. They have to move one of the pieces here, and you have like a bishop sliding in if the knight abandons its post once the king's here on E8. Now, the other way that I was saying, I don't think works. I mentioned king QE8. I don't think it works, though, because if once they go up, you just don't have a follow-up. Like, if you go here, they just also can go there. So, yeah, I think it is take. But if I get this part wrong, it's just wrong. Okay. That is right. Okay. So, is the rest of it right? I think it's queen check next. And because the first move's right, I'm almost certain this has to be the next move, as there's no other way to make progress. And you're down, actually not down material, but you see they have this attack. So that's why my guess is queen down here to H8. Because it's also forcing, they can only move us up. Well, I guess they could go bishop back. Oh, I missed that. Because they can go bishop back, but I think you go queen here. And it functions similarly as you have the bishop move there. I think it's QH8. Let's see if that's right. That is right. Alright, let's go to the next part of it. Now, no. You still can't go here, though. Which is what I would want. Because now the king's too close to this. And you couldn't win the knight. Which is why I think it's here. What I didn't consider is king back, though. So I have to rethink what I was saying. Because I said king straight to E8. But that's actually not forced. If you just move the queen up, they can go king D8. And there I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer if they do it that way. If you move your queen, king D8, I guess if you went QF6, bishop E7, that wouldn't work. And you couldn't go back, so maybe the queen has to stay there. Because it is cutting off the king. Right, the king is cut off right here. And if you go up, they can just go back. And then knight check. Any knight check, the bishop is controlling this diagonal. So I don't think that works. There's mate, queen, and knight somewhere. I think my gut is bishop, but maybe it is knight. My gut is this square is somehow like a mating net at some point. Yeah, the queen can't move because I miscalculated. I was like, if it's here, it does actually work, but they can just go back. But then if you go rook over, they still have all these defenders, so they go here. Oh, no. I get it now. It's because the bishop is cutting off the diagonal. So the king can't get out the way that way, right? It's not because you're going in. So it might be here. If they go back, check, over. I'm like a move away, I think. I think it's rookie. It's rookie 1. Because it can't be here, like I said originally. Because, again, this would work if they have to go back there. Then it would work, I'm pretty sure. But I guess still not, because I just missed king d8 in that entire calculation. They could just get out the way. This means nothing. You can't force anything. If you just go up, the knight can't get in. So that's why my instinct is here. And if they blockade, either way, I would guess they go with the bishop so they can have that defense. So the rook's here and their bishop's on e6. If we check, then they go back. Can you take? Maybe you just win material. Maybe it's not even checkmate. Then you just win material here. Yeah, I'll show the ending of it. Because it's not actually mate, you just win the knight, I'm pretty sure. Here, and then the best move, apparently it's 92, but I was looking at 90s. Okay, what I was looking at is apparently just not right at all. I was looking here, And they're saying, no, they're still not mate. Yeah, because it's check. And then they go king d8. And then you take. That's what I was missing. I was trying to find a checkmate, but you just win the material here. And you're up a rook. Alright, let's go to this next one. We're sitting at 45 here. Can we make it to 50? 2100. Oh, congratulations, Yonder. What's the exact rating sitting at? Yeah. Next one. What do we have here? Capturing. I'm guessing that's probably not it. If we get the bishop to move, there is something with the pawn. I think that is just it, honestly. Because if you take, you would just take. And then, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you just take the pawn on d5. Because you capture, then you could go up. And then capture. And then they still have to take, then you go up, yeah. I'm almost certain that's it. Yeah, it is it. And rook takes, and then you just go up. Okay, here, we gotta close it out right. I think you take. Yeah, because if you take this, then they just take that. And then you take the rook. I'll go to this next one. That was much easier than that last one, I think. Oh, this one's pretty... Oh, these are much easier than the last one. You just go queen down. If they capture, you take. They move, you take the rook. And then if you go queen down and they move, you just take the queen. That can't be it. After what we just did for those last couple. Man, congratulations. I remember the excitement I felt when I first hit that. And I lost it a couple times. I lost it a few. I think I'm 2100 right now. You're higher than me right now. So yeah, it's been a struggle trying to get to that next level, 22. But I think it is QE1. I don't have to spend too much time on this. I'm trying to double check because it seems comically easy, and I want to make sure I'm not miscalculating it. But I'm pretty sure it's there, because there, that's a free queen, and then here, take, check. That's yeah. Okay, that's not the 47th hardest puzzle we've done. Not at all. I mean, I still think the puzzle that was rated 945 was harder than the 2482 one. No clue how it got that title. Alright, there are knights here, though. My guess would be queen down. So let's look at the material. Right now, we're down 2 minor pieces. Right? They have a knight and a bishop that we don't have. Or 2 bishops we don't have, because we have a knight. If you check, their only legal move is knight in. Oh, maybe it's... I'm thinking about... Maybe it's just knight here. Because then... nah. Because if you take knight moves. So is a knight here. Threatening this mate in one idea. Oh, but then they could just take here on a6. And they're still connected to it, right? So I don't think that's it. I think it's still here. The knight moves back. You capture in the center. The problem with this way is it doesn't seem like there's a way to... Yeah, that's not it. Because you're still down material. Here, knight back. Knight here, knight back. I need to guard this escape square. Check, forces over. Oh, wait. Check, they have to go over. Oh my god. Is it just here and then here? No way. Yeah, it is. That's crazy. I'll show you what I was looking at. Because I was trying to do... I was looking at, if you go down here, you win the bishop back. I was like, there's something with this, but there's nothing with that. You simply just check it. That's insane. Alright, let's go to this next one. We're at 48 right here. Let's see. Don't overthink. Yeah, I have overthought a lot of these. Here, I don't think I'm going to overthink, though. The bishop is simply trapped if you go king f2. Now, if they push, you have to take. If they move, king f2. Okay. No way. It's not simply trapping the bishop. Okay, here. It matters how you take it. Well, I did not see that. So we get the first one wrong there. And on 49. Another one. Let's make sure we calculate right. I think you just take here on e6. And then they go up, you'll slide. Okay, if you go here, up, back over, down. Well, you have to take. I mean, that's the problem. You have to take the knight. I just have to calculate the moves after that. So this is the first move, I'm sure. The problem is if they go there, you go here. They go up, you take. They take. They're just too fast to your material. They're too quick. They're way... Elo? What time control? And then do you mean online or over the board? I guess I can just answer. My rapid's 21, like 20-ish. My blitz is like 21. My bullet's like 23. And then my USCF is 1956. Yeah. I think you have to take the knights. Okay. Now the rest, you can't go over. And one thing I'll say is you don't have to, because they can never put your king's in the right spot. Going up here, here, here. I think one of the pawns has to move over here. Stuck at 450. Now do you do puzzles? I say tactics is probably tactics and having an opening, I'd say, are the most useful things to do. It's either king here or b5, because I think king f6 just doesn't work because of this take here, here, here. Either king slides in, and then what I'm guessing is you have to create a passer so they can't take this passer. So say you go up, they go here. You go up, take. Yeah, they'd have to go all the way around now. Yeah. I think it's this, because they'd have to go I'll show that, because that doesn't actually happen. And now I think you still create the passer, because they'd have to take. They'd have to go back around. Yeah. And then now you just push. Okay, I'll show that. Because the problem is, I sound familiar. Like you know me in person type of thing. But yeah. So the reason I'll show why this other way doesn't work first. That's probably better. If you go here, they just go here, take, here, here. And you can see you're not going to save everything, which is the problem. Actually, if they could mess up. I think this is a loss. Yeah, say they could mess up. But assuming they play the best moves, which is king here to b5, it would, yeah, it'd just be a draw. But we'll show why the tactic b5 works though, because they don't show it all the way. Up here, g7. If you go, actually, let's do it this way, because maybe this is easier to see. They'd make the same move they'd make if they went to g7, or if we went king back. Now you go up. If they take, their king can't breach this little setup. So here, back, they can't take, which is the problem. If they take, you just go up. So that's why that one works there. Hikaru, I've got that. What's going on, Abanov? I've got that so often. I really don't think I sound like, I guess, it doesn't mean people have said it, but it does not feel like I sound like him. If he has a different tonation, it feels like. But yeah, I think rook here to g1, attacking the king. If they take, you'll take for queen. Here, they go down. Then you take that for free. And then here, here, here. I think that'd work. I mean, it has to be rook down, though. Like, nothing else. The queen can't move. Right, you just give up for free. This is a check. I'm just going to say this is the first move. Alright, now the second move. Is it queen here or take the rook? I think it's just take the rook, yeah, because queen here, they push the pawn forward. What can you do? This is what I was worried about. That's what it is. You can't go there like I said, because there you lose the rook. And you have to go king down here. Yep. Alright, they take this bishop here in the center of the board. Practicing, what openings are you practicing? And we got a new sub on YouTube. We're at 946, closing in on 1,000 there. But yeah, we do have this double check idea, forcing them to go back, but I get it doesn't really work. Doesn't do anything. If you go here, they move up, taking. There's more than this, because the double checks I'm discussing are useless. Like, they don't do anything for the position. If you capture on d8, the knight just takes. That's not it. So let's see, knight d5. The king would have to either go king, because after king b8, I don't see how you have anything, though. That's the problem, because knight d5, king b8. That's a legal move. They have to move the king. There's no knight move after that, because, yeah, the knight's just stuck there. And rook down doesn't work. That's why I think it's knight b5 instead. knight b5 would have to be instead. Because knight d5, there's no follow-up. So knight b5, king b6. Like, if you take the rook, they could take the knight. Well, it has to be knight b5, because, like, the other move doesn't work. This makes no sense. You're down a queen, it has to be check. So these are the two options, and this option runs into king b8. So this is kind of a guess, because I don't fully see it. But I'm guessing, what I do know is these are the only two moves. I'll say that's a fact. These are the only two moves that make any sense. Because you have to check them. It's a double check. The king has to move. I don't get after king b6 how it's winning. But I'm going to assume this is the first. No, it's not the first move. Is it knight d? If it's knight d5, that's crazy. Oh, it's knight a4. Wow. Oh my god. Because if they go back, it's rook captures d8. That is nuts. That's nuts. It was not between those two. This was an option. No flexibility of the mind there. A4, you got that right, Jarn. That's insane. Too addicted? I'm addicted as well. I've been playing chess a lot lately. More than I should, given I have work to do, or homework, but, yeah, I think this one is queen down. Or no. No, it's not true. The problem is they have this queen move here that's a check and wins. Oh, you have two strikes, by the way. So the next one we get wrong, we're done. And we're at 50. We are 4 off our highs. If we get the next 4 right, we'll get our peak. But that's a lot to ask. We're at like 2,700 rated puzzles here. Knight a4 is quite the miss, though. That was definitely findable. But yeah. Is it... So bishop h6 is probably not the move, because qa1, it forces the queen trade. I'm so confused. Because if you go qh6, they can just go f6. So that can't be it. Right? Because if you go here, they can't bring their queen down. I mean, even if they did, you still couldn't checkmate them. Over. Yeah, it can't be here. And then you have to move your queen because of qa1. And qh6 is not it. Although, is it not it? I said that about the last thing, and I was wrong. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not this. Because they honestly could just sack the queen if they wanted to, I'm pretty sure. And they could still get rid of that. And because if you take... And I'm sure this is not the computer line, but for my mind, they go back over, pawn 4, rook over. You can't checkmate them, and they still have these two passers. So I imagine you can't... It's similar to the one you have to give a check. So if you go queen back, or not give a check, you have to set up a check. Oh, because here, if they go down, then it's a discovered, right? So that makes sense there. But I feel like that doesn't... Because what if they go f6 then? I guess discovered again, and then up, and then down, and then down, and then mate. I feel like I'm missing something, though. I guess it... Well, we know it can't be that, though. It can't be qh6. That simply wouldn't make any sense, because they could sack the queen. And among other things, I'm sure there's another way they could stop that, too. And you just can't force a mate. It's too many moves, like here. I think qa1's probably the best. I'll go over it after in the engine, though. My instinct is g5 now, knowing this isn't an option. And you know you can't go back here. You need to stay connected to the bishop. But with 2 strikes, I'm feeling a little nervous. I want to get my peak. Alright, I just want to go for it. Because I don't see a way they can get out. Because here, up, you would just take. And then here, if they do anything else, you could then go back over checkmate. And then here, h6. You'd still discover check. Yeah, you can't take with the queen. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, that is it. And I think it's bishop captures f6 now. Yeah, because here, here. So bx f6. They slide up, queen down, king back. Yeah. Okay, we got that one. Let's see, qg5. Yes, we see. Okay, qg5 from Rob was correct. Just play it. Bishop h8, qg5, qg5. Okay, everyone saw qg5. Everyone saw that quicker than I saw it. All right, their bishop's here on a6. Very impressed, because that took a little bit. I just thought qh6. I want to show that for a second. The end part of it is if you go here, I think they can just sack their queen, can't they? Oh no, you can't sack your queen. But yeah, it's still f6 and now it's fine. Okay. I thought you could sack. It says only +2 though. And to drop a queen b +2. What's going on, Paul? How you doing? My elo suggests does it now. But yeah, their bishop's here on a6. Can you just capture? If you capture, they take with the pawn there. Take. No, that's not it. Queen captures. Okay, 3 more right and we hit a peak. 3 more right. Let's lock in. Knight capture. Queen can't take queen, right? Because then a knight would take back. So that doesn't make any sense. Right now you're equal material. Take. Okay, take. Pawn has to capture, right? Because they can't leave it there. So they would have to take back with the c pawn. So that is a forcing move. So knight x d6, cx d6. And then, man, there's that's way too slow and it doesn't work. Knight captures, pawn captures, because the queen can't take. Because if you take, the queen takes, captures, takes, backs. So I think it is that because of how forcing it is. It forces c captures d6 after, right? And then you can't move the queen. I guess you could, but they... Oh, what if you move the queen? Okay, can the queen go anywhere? Because you do have that attack at the end if the queen does move. Oh, I think it's... Okay, I think it's here, take, and then qa4, right? Because you're attacking the bishop and you're attacking the queen. I'm pretty sure that's it. I want to double, triple check, though, because we have 2 strikes right now. But I'm pretty sure it's take, qa4, because the knight's guarding the rook, putting pressure on the queen. And again, if you take queen takes, knight can simply drop. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then q here to a4. Attacking the bishop. If they slide, you take. And then they take, you'd go up. And then if you go here, they move, you take the queen. Yes, that is right. Okay, the queen's going to move here. Now just closing it out. I hope I don't get the easy part of this wrong. I've done the hard part, which I think is qa4. Now, do you take the bishop or do you take the rook first is the question. I think you would have to take the rook first. So you take the bishop first, take knight in, rook over. I don't see how that's losing, which is the problem. But if I were guessing, but I don't want to guess. We have some time to think about it. I think you have to take on e8. Because if the rook moves over, queen captures, they literally can't move in at all. I guess the alternative is if you take the bishop, they take, knight takes, rook over. I still feel like after knight f3, it wouldn't be an issue. But maybe the way I'm suggesting is giving up the file, though. Like, if you take the bishop first, or if you take the rook first, they take, q takes, they have the e file completely. But if you do it the other way, queen takes bishop, rook takes on e, knight takes, then they go rook to e8. And they have an initiative. I don't see how that's winning, though, if you go knight f3. Oh, maybe it's knight d4, though. Maybe it's knight d4, though. Knight d6, q4. Oh, yeah, you saw that too, Rob. Yeah, the third move is here. I think it has to be take rook first. It has to be. Because the knight has... Yeah. This is kind of a guess. Intuition is saying... Okay, let's see why you couldn't take with the knight. Exchange rook, then take bishop. If you rook takes rook, his queen threatens. You can't take bishop. I think the... Okay, so this is what I was thinking. I just thought the knight being back is kind of a target, and you'd have to... That's why I was thinking take first. Let's see what the actual reason is. If you take... Oh, they're winning. So they capture. QXF2. Okay. Appreciate the likes there, KS. QXF2. Good thing I did that there. If you take the bishop first in, I see Marco called it too. Yeah, Q captures F2 there. Alright, let's go to this next one. We're at 51. We're on 50. We're at 52. 2 more, and I get my all-time peak. Let's see if I can actually do it though. They're nice in there on G3. Okay. I think it's rook captures e1, knight x e1, knight x d4, qf2, knight f5. Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Because if you take the rook, they have to take with the knight. And then the knight can take, and then they can't take back because the queen's hanging. And if you take the pawn first, then they could take check. Yeah, you can't take the pawn first. Because, oh, yeah. Because the knight's guarding this. Please be it. No! No. That's not it. That's not it. We got 3 of the last 7 wrong after going perfect. It gets harder at this level. So, you do take... I just said you can't do that. Why can't you do that? Or why can't you do this? Take now. Here. But... Wow. Can they not just slide over? Oh, this is still hanging. Ah, this is still hanging. Oh, then if this, then rook takes. That's what I didn't see. I was like, well, the knight's guarding. If the knight moves, then the rook falls. That makes a lot of sense. And the reason you can't take first, knight x e1. Can you not still take this? Oh, you can't still take this. The queen's not hanging. Well, we get that one wrong, unfortunately. Makes a lot of sense in hindsight. It's a 52, and that's not horrible, but... And I hit my longest streak ever, a 48 straight. Unfortunately, we did not get the peak. Let's start this again, though. We have a lot of time. Or no, it's 5. Wow, time flies. But the rook slides over, mate in 1. Alright, mate in 1. Let's get back up to the hard ones. Mate in 1. Okay, is there mate in 1 here? If you slide, no, there's not mate in 1 here. I hope I don't get this one wrong. If you just take... There are 2 ways you could go. Oh, no, because here they just slide back over. Yeah, just take the bishop. Alright, next one. They're going to take this mate in 1. This should be mate in 1. Yeah, they can't slide back over. That is... This is... And then here, and you take. I think it's here, 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 here. Because check, they could go back. But yeah, the knight's guarding the escape square either direction. Yeah, that's it. Alright, this is mate in 1. Next up, I believe you can just go up. They go down, or you go up here to h2. They bring their rook down here to d1. We go bishop down here to g1, and then they can't do anything there. I'm almost certain that's what would happen. So let's see if that's right. Yeah. Bishop blockades, and now you get the queen here. Alright, next, the rook's going to slide down, taking. I believe it's queen down there. So yeah, q here to d1, bishop c1, and qx c1. And then that should be it. Here, and then take. Alright, next, queen here, checkmate. Now the queen is going to slide over and sacrifice itself on f1 and mate here in the corner. Alright, got the first 15. Okay. We got the first 15. I think it's here, over, and you sack the knight. Because it looks like it's this and this. But they could just take that, and you go down, they just go back. So I believe it's here first. They go bishop. They don't make you solve that far, but I'll actually show that. Let's make sure I was right about that part of it. I'm pretty sure you can't... Alright, let's see. Here... Wait, no. Here, you can't move your knight in. You can go knight f2, though. But it's not. It's mate in 2 this way, though. Why can you... I'm confused why you can even move there in the first place. Here. Oh, what am I... Yeah, duh. Well, you're still winning anyways. But I saw knight g3. Somehow I missed knight f2. Let's go to this next one. The queen's going to slide over. Looks like you're just winning the knight here with qc2. I don't see anything else, so I'm just going to go for that. Alright, next one. The rook slides over. I believe this is just mate in 1. Yeah, queen captures. Alright, next one. You have the black pieces here. If you push forward, the king has this escape square. So you don't want to push forward. Live restricted. Wow, that's unfortunate. Let me do something real quick. I gotta appeal this. They said it's not original at all. Don't know why. I feel like it is original. Alright, give me 1 second. I'll do it on my computer. Usually it doesn't work when I do it on my phone. And we'll get right back to the puzzles, though. Just gotta fix this or appeal this real quick. Not contain the content mentioned. Alright, so let's get back to the puzzles here. So what can we do? It could be rook captures, maybe. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, rook captures and then queen captures. Alright, they're going to slide their bishop over here. QE5. It's right square, right square. But I think here, and then they go down. You may be able to check them until you can win the queen. There's some type of fork. If they get here, you have this knight sliding in, right? So I think that's the idea. Oh, no, you can just go rook down now. Yeah, just rook down now. Yeah, I'm trying to set it up. It's already set up where you can win that. Alright, they slide. I think pawn forward here and then mate should be the idea. Because if you just go down here immediately, their king can escape. And it wouldn't actually work if you did it that way. So I think it's g6 or g5 first. And then you go move your queen down. Alright, so their rook slides up. If you give a check, is there anything there? Not that I can see. If you take the rook, is there anything? Take there. Oh, there is. There's qf4. You're going to win that at the end. Alright, their pawn slides forward. You would want to discover it check. And knight captures c2 sets up a discovery. Because they can only move to a light square. Which then we can sacrifice the bishop. And then take the queen here on g7. Let's do this next one. The king's going to jump forward. Actually, I think it's QE4. Q captures, FXE4. King moves, king f3. King moves, king f2. And you just run the pawn down. They're too slow, I think, to catch up. Take here, here. Queen. And he would have a tactic to win the queen. Because I'll show it, actually. That probably makes a little more sense. The reason, even though you're promoting basically the same time. And they go down here, queen. You have this check, and because it's opposition, they can only go this way. They can't move forward towards the e-file, so they would have to move over here, like anywhere, and you just win the queen once they move. So that's a fun one. Opposition is a very, very powerful thing in chess. But they slide their king down. Thank you, thank you. I've done a lot. I've done a lot of puzzles, so I'm glad I am. I'm glad it's paid off. But I think rook a8. I can't get the 50s though. At the around 50 is where I completely tail off. I got like 4 for 7 after going like 48 for 48. It gets difficult the higher up. First 25 we've got. I'll take that because I don't always get the first 25 right, and I've done it for like 3 straight times. So I'll take that as a win, even though these are pretty simple in comparison to the others. But I think it's QA3 and the knight b4 because that's a forced mate that can't really stop. So I just want to go for that. Here and then knight up. And then they have to sack their queen. I'll do this next one. The rook's going to drop down. Okay, it looks like this should be some type of mate idea. Oh, it is. Because king here, rook slides over, right? So you go here, check, and your rook slides over. You ever get days where you lose more than you win in Rapid? I don't play Rapid that much, to be honest, so I can't say but for Bullet, that's definitely happened to me a lot. But yeah, I don't really play Rapid that often. I guess I used to. When I did, I didn't always have good days. Getting to just going on Papillion. Getting to 1800 Rapid was a grind. Oh my god, that was ridiculous. I kept getting to 1798 or 97. Appreciate that, Papillion. And I just could never close it. So yeah, I've definitely experienced that as I think about it. But yeah, rook there to g7. I think it just doesn't work. Knight in to e6, I think it's the move. Because then that's checkmate. They'd have to go down, then you take the rook. Yeah. What I was missing was like, well, if they just go back, how do you mate them? It's not mate. You're just winning the rook there, so you take this check as well. Alright, their queen's going to slide in. I think it's just rook e8. Rook e8, king b6, qx f5, rook x f5, rook x h8. Yeah. Then you take here. I'll do this next one here. Improving, went from 150 to 450. 150 to 450, and lost so many games yesterday. I was hey, you're a chess player. You're a chess. Another sub. We're 947. Closing in on 950 there on YouTube. When we get closer to 1,000, I have a fun costume to wear. We're almost at 1,500 there on TikTok too. So going on both platforms, somewhat on Twitch too, but mostly TikTok. We've been growing a decent amount lately. But their bishop goes here to c5. I think you just go knight here to a4, attacking and attacking. That feels like that would be the move. Because that's hanging, but then if their queen's under attack, nothing else matters. So I think it's just knight a4 here. Yeah, they give a check. You don't have to take and let them get out of it. You can move your king over. And this is still hanging. And you would just take there at the end. Yo, appreciate that, Papillion. I'm surprised it didn't. If yours are public, it'll pop up. And it'll show like on the screen in a pretty cool fashion. But the king's going to go here to b1. And you take the queen. Alright, let's go to this next one. We're at the first 30. 30 for 30. Alright. If you go here, the knight's still guarding. If you take, they have too many pieces there to maintain. So that's why I think it is this. I'm just not seeing how you could win with that as the move. Oh, I do see. It's because you go here, you have to sack the queen. That's what I was missing. You go here, attacking, and then they go wherever. You have to sack the queen, threatening mate. If they take, rook captures over and then rook captures. So I think it's bishops. No, that's not it. That's not it. All right, you got 31 wrong there. What is it? Oh, you just take immediately, take the rook. Why doesn't this work? If you go bishop c6, I must see this. Oh, check. I missed the check. All right, we get 31 wrong. Unfortunate. Well, we can't get many other wrong. We're cooked otherwise. Their bishop's here on f5. Could you just go? No. I was gonna say just go qc5, but then how would you win the bishop ever? Take. Oh no, you would win the bishop. It's qc5. If they go over, take, then the queen moves, and then you take there at the end. Here, capture, capture, capture. Alright, we get one right after getting that wrong. Here, I think it's queen over. They take and then queen down. Alright, so the next one, their queen slides in. So, the problem we're having right now is if you just move the knight, this is taking with check. So it can't be a tactic like that where the bishop can just capture the bishop, and then there's a check there, and then you can't really do anything about it. What we could do, you want to attack the queen. If we go up here attacking the queen, there's this check at the end, but you can't win this bishop, which is the main object we're trying to get right now. Maybe you could go knight here, though, and then take, because you're attacking the queen, you have the fork at the end. Actually, I think it is that, yeah. Then you just take, and then knight captures. Then you win the knight there. Alright, the rook's going to slide down. If you capture here on g7, they would take. No, you could capture here, king over, check up. I think you have to take this. Now the follow-up, I'm not entirely sure about. I think you check again, or do you slide this over with check? If you go qb4, I don't see how you force a win with qb4, because they could just slide qc6, check up, check, rook down. No, so it's not queen b4. I think it's just rook g8 then. They move their king up, rook there. Yeah, I think it is just rook g8. And then you have to go rook here, take, and you take this rook at the end. Alright, so this next one. They're going to take here on f6. This is mate in 1, as the king can't move out the way. Alright, move their rook over here to c8. Now what can we do? Knight b4. Oh, what puzzle was that for knight b4? I missed that message. Knight b4. Not there, not there. Oh, no, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was knight b4. Yes. It was knight to b4, I believe. Or was it b4 or was it a... I gotta go back to that. Queen down. Yes, it was knight b4. Alright, the rook's going to slide over there to c8. Taking. Can you go here immediately? Or what if you could capture? Or would it... Either way, if you take, you have this pawn move forward, right? That they can't really stop you from getting forward progression after that. So I think if you capture here, they take, you go up. Wow, this is a little difficult. It's a little difficult on puzzle number 37. We have 35 right and 1 wrong. This is the 37th puzzle. If you take on c8, the rook could just take. And then if you go rook b1 after that, and they go rook c1. Yeah, they have bishop a2 at the end. So that's probably not it. I'm thinking that it's just... Oh, it might just be here to b7 first. Because then if they say go over, you take. And then if you go up here, they take. You take. And then that's so weak. Yeah, I think it's b7 first. And now you can't take this yet, right? Because they just take back. You take this rook. And then you just move your rook over here to win this pawn, right? Rook b1. Alright, so this next one. They're not going to take here in the center. Rook takes c2. I'll show that. I think rook c2, the problem with it... Let's see. You go up, cap... Oh, yeah. Let's go back to it. If you take... I think after just taking back... Oh, I made a move. Taking here, I think they can just take back. And then after b7, they have rook c1. And you can't really stop them. Like queen. And then take, check. Up. And then queen. And this is actually a draw because you could probably check them forever. But black is actually the one who would win if someone could win this game. But yeah, let's go to this next one here. Alright, their knight's here in the center. We could take on d5, potentially. I think that is just it. Take on d5. If they take, take. Take on d5. They take, 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 take. Yeah. I think it's just that, yeah. And then knight's going to slide back, right? You take here, they'll take the knight. And then take the queen. Let's go to this next one. Are their pawns going to... Or, not pawn. Their bishop takes there on c6. I'm guessing it's knight check. Over, bishop check. Back, rook down to d1 checkmate. Let's see if that's right. Alright, so this next one, they're going to slide their rook over. If you push your pawn for it here, that's where my instinct is going, my intuition is going. It's just pushing up here to d3. If the bishop captures... No, but that's not it, though. If you go up and they just take it... What if you take this way? Take, take, down, down. Huh, that's an interesting way to go about it. If you go up and the knight takes, though. Capture, capture, up, capture. They could just sack all their pieces. Oh, maybe you take the knight first. Yeah, I'm saying take the knight after you push, but the knight can move. The knight's the issue. So if you just take here on c5 before anything else, then if they take, you go up. Yeah. And then now you push, and then take, check, and you get the queen. Alright, the rook slides over. Bishop here looks like the idea, but then their rook simply just takes back. So because of that, I'm not really thinking that's the move. But there's not too many other options. Like, you can't guard it. Unless you go rook e7. Rook e7 would work. Because you're attacking the rook. Take, take. Yeah, I think it's rook e7. That's the only thing that makes any type of sense to me. Going to rook to e7. They slide over. You just take there at the end. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, take, take. Now this is where we get confused. Because if they get their king here, it's actually not that bad. No, that's not it. Excuse me. But the king's on g2. You can move the bishop not to c5. Maybe bishop f6. King moves, then you have that check. Yeah, I think it's bishop f6. And then now you can go bishop here attacking. And then now you can take the rook. Alright, let me see if TikTok unbanned me real quick before we continue. I'm hoping they did. I'm hoping they did. Let's see. Activity. Oh no, they did not unban me yet. That I can see at least. That's not good. Here. Yeah, oh. Appeal not approved. It's not approved. Really? I can't stream chess? That's crazy. Recommendation. What? That's insane. Yeah, okay. I'm going to have to then restart the TikTok live. Because it says my appeal is not approved. And that means that no one can see it, sadly. That's insane. I don't know what I did to them. Yeah, give me 1 second, and then I'll just restart it. Because I'm not sure how that even happened. Yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube and Twitch, it's not going to be ended. Give me 1 sec. Okay. That makes no sense. I don't know why I had the appeal revoked there. Sorry about the delay. Just give me 1 moment. I will be able to get back to it. Alright. Here. That's crazy. Okay. Alright, let's restart the TikTok live now. I don't know if you can get through the appeal system like that. Just going back up. But we're gonna try. Let's go here. See if it's up and running. Yes. Sorry about this little delay here. Go live. It did not. Alright, let's try it now. Puzzle grind. Alright. Hopefully it works this time. Not sure how it ever did not work. We're at 40 though. Back to the puzzles. Can't focus too much on the technical side of it. Back to the puzzles. We have a chance here to get to 54. We're only 14 away. It's not impossible by any means. It's not impossible. Alright. It looks like the rook's over here on C1. What can we do? We can go capture the knight here. We just go knight here first, but then their rook slides down for check. Then you can just go out the way. Then you take their queen. And if you go here with their queen slides over, that's the only thing. If their queen slides all the way over there, I'm not sure if that works either, right? Don't know if that would work. Knight d4, queen slides. Oh, then knight in. Yeah, knight in. You move your king out the way here, g8. And then, what is the final blow here? Can you give a check? And then they slide over. That wouldn't work. You could check. They slide. Huh. I'm not sure how you win the game. I found the first 2 moves of it, though. But how you exactly win it, the intricacies there, I'm not entirely sure. But they're on h2. Let's say knight e2 attacking. King moves there to f1. That's not it. That just won't work there. If you take the pawn there with the bishop, that also won't work, right? That wouldn't make any sense. Knight sliding, they can't take, they move. I am at a loss. And I think I've done the hard part. We found the first 2 moves. We have to find the next 3 or so. So it's either knight to bishop g2. My thing with bxg2 is that if queen captures, I don't see a follow-up. I need to, maybe the idea is to just win a piece of material, and I just can't see what piece of material you have to win. So if knight goes there to e2, attacking the king slides over, then bishop takes. No, that doesn't make sense. I think it has to be, it's something. It is a move, so we know we have to make a move. That's all I have right now. The knight sliding into e2, not it. The bishop taking on g2, not it. Maybe is it here and then here? Yeah, and then knight here to f4 attacking the queen. That's about all I have. And nothing else makes any remote sense to me. Bishop takes, queen takes. You simply can't do anything with that. If you move here, they capture. Yeah, it is that. And then is it bishop takes, and then knight there? That is a hard puzzle. That's a hard one. Alright, this one, it appears a little bit easier, but who really knows? Who really knows? The knight's there on f4. We know there has to be some type of mate idea with this setup. So let's say you go q to e4. They have 4 pieces, 5 pieces attacking d5. So I don't think it's check that way. Maybe you could check on b5. They go king b7. That's the other issue though. Like if you wait, queen over, knight take. Queen over, knight moves in, knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes. Yeah, that doesn't work either. So it has to be bishop b5, I believe, as the first one. It wouldn't make sense otherwise, as the q to f3 simply wouldn't be able to get enough pressure with having all of these pieces guarding that square there here on d5. So because of that, I think it's bishop here. Oh, is it bishop here now? And then if they go back, you take the queen. And if you go here, they move up. You'll check over. That part I'm not sure. How is it mate? I want to see what happens if they go towards the center of the board, because I don't see how you could have won that way. The knight moves, you check. What if they go back here? QB5, king d6. Oh, knight here to e4. Ah, okay, that's why you can't go back that way. So we won the queen in that one. We're at 42. This is a fork. Win the queen. Now, how do you win the pawn here? If you go here, up. So you have to go knight here, right? And you just run the pawn forward here. Alright, so the rook's going to slide forward. I believe it's capture, capture, check, over, check. And then you win the rook at the end. Ah, their queen slides in. Missed that one. I missed that one. Okay. Now, if you go queen captures, king captures, that's not it. Rook captures, king captures, knight captures. There's a fork idea somewhere here that I'm saying. A fork idea somewhere. King Leon 66. I can't, the username feels familiar. I can't say for sure. Did we talk about something that you think I remember? But King Leon, let me see your profile picture. Oh no, I can't. Man, I can't. I have the Twitch chat open, not that one. If you go Q here to A1, but King Leon does sound familiar. But Q here to A1, looking for the check here. If they go back, take. But if you take first, king has to take. Knight takes, king has to go back. So here, forcing. Here, take. Over. Oh, you could slide over taking there, right? And then you have knight captures, and you take here on f3. Alright, GG. And then AR, appreciate those likes there on TikTok. Closing in. We hit 1. Closing on 10. We have their knights here on d5. The rook can take here on d5, potentially. And you're aiming down that way. Rook x d5. Appreciate that, Jose. Appreciate that. But I think it's rook x d5. And how do they stop from losing a whole lot of material? I guess because you're down a piece right now, right? And Jose, appreciate these likes. Let's see. Taking on d5. Queen. Yeah, that took a little bit, AR. I was like, I don't know. It took, as you saw, it took me a while. I didn't see it instantly. But I think rook x d5 for this one. If the queen takes, well, the queen can't take. The queen can't take. So I think that's just it then. And then you're gonna, you have a triple stack. What's going on, Game King? Yeah, so 44 is the score we're at right now for Puzzle Rush. There's this checkmate idea. I think bishop up here simply stops it. Or no, it's bishop here instead. Right, so that you could take. Because if you go here, then they just take. Your battery's gone. So bishop c5 allows you to win this. And if they take, you take with check, and they're still not checkmate. But you have a bishop there on a6. The bishop can go to d6. I don't know if that's helpful right now. If you just slide your rook over, you have mate. They have knight g4, qx g4. I feel like that's probably just it though. And I just have to figure out how to make it mate. Yeah, this is my guess. Here, okay. Could you just take the knight? Is my my thought here. Yeah, I think you could just take the knight and you'll be only down a piece. They still have this mate threat that's coming up. That's what I think. I think it has to be this. Yeah, they take and then you take again. And they're still mate. Yeah, they're still mate this incoming there. Alright, their king's going to slide up 95. Let's see. 95. I think 95 may... Why doesn't it work? Oh, bishop c3 apparently. And then after here... they can get their bishop on this diagonal now. That's the problem with 95. Alright, let's go to this next one. Let's see if it gets a 47 correct. Their king goes up here to f6. Rook there to f8. The king slides over. Because qf8, I think, doesn't work. Because the king can just run up the board, right? And that would be not ideal. So rook slides over, check. King over. Somehow, we have to get it where we're attacking the rook from two directions. And right now, I'm not seeing how to do that. I'm not seeing how to do that. If you go qh8 attacking, the rook wouldn't slide over because rook f8, right? So that's not an idea. Because if you go queen down, they just go king over. Check. King go. You can just go back and forth on e6 and d6 with diagonal checks because you can only guard one diagonal. You go rook to f8, and that's why this is where I'm leaning towards. If their king, the king would then have to slide to e6, so it's forcing, which is why I think it's the first move. Then what if you went queen h3? If they went king d6, could you go rook d8, king over? Could you go queen c8 after that? I think it is there, right? Because, yeah, if the king's over there, the queen can go back to c8. So here, and then q here, over. I guess because here, why can't they go up? Oh, because rook over. Yeah, I think it's queen h3. And then you just take this. I'll show what I was looking at too. Alright, let's go through that one. This one's not clear. Yeah, this one was... It took a little bit because it's a... If they go over, I think it's because you have rook d8. And then if they... It says king d5. But say they go king here instead. It's qc8. That's why I was saying qc8. They're attacking. And then up. And then rook here. And yeah. But apparent... So that's why that one works. That was a fun one though. You know this next one here? Alright, their knight is there on c3. So if you took on d3, wouldn't it just be winning? I think so. Because you can't take on c6 and then you just lose the rook, right? So that wouldn't work. And you don't have a dark squared piece. The reason I think it's winning if you do it this way is because if you take on d3, you're attacking the bishop on d2. They'd have to take measures to guard it, and then bishop d7. If the queen's still there, if the queen moves, you just take on c6. So that's why I think it's qx d3. Qx d3, bishop moves, then you would just take the bishop because the bishop guards the rook. Yeah, I think you just slide in taking this. And they slide in with their queen. Capture, capture, capture. Should be the idea here. Right? So I think you just take. And then take. Alright, so this next one. Their pawn's going to come up here to b3. Check, down. Check, down. Don't see anything after that. If you give a check, they go over, check, down, check. Wow. Either way, I'm not seeing follow-ups. See, here, 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 here. That's not good. That's not good at all. Here, 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 here. Here, over, down, down, check, down, rook down. Neither of these seem like they're really winning. Like, I don't know how to decide between the two of them. I guess I know the going rook e6 doesn't work at all, right? Rook e6 wouldn't make any sense because they could just literally stay on the d file the whole time. So that's why I'm leaning towards rook d4 instead, as it does force something. There, rook d4, king c2, rook e2, rook e2 first, rook e2 first, let's see, rook e2, oh yeah, that's just mate in 2, yeah, you're right, here, and then you take, and then rook down. I don't know if I would have got that one, but their king's there on h3. Wow, this is quite the puzzle. So if you allow them to get in rook to h2, how in any capacity, there's that forced mate, right? So if you go rook f3, and then you make that be a discovered check, and then Jose, appreciate these likes. I'm on another platform. Yeah, so Game King, I stream on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. So my TikTok and YouTube are PJ's Chess. And then Twitch, as you see, PJ's Chess 993 there. But yeah, I am streaming on different platforms. I think it's rook f3. Only thing that makes sense to me. Because if you... Or is it... Could you go bishop f2? No. Because then rook takes. There's no way to checkmate them. Yeah. Not a way to mate. Not a way to mate. So you could go rook f3. If they go rook h2, then bishop captures, that's checkmate. And then rook down. And then you could go bishop e2. Yeah, I think it's rook f3. The king moves. Alright, this is the part where I was a little stuck on. I wonder, can you take this? They take bishop back. They move. And then take, because if you do this way, yeah, I think you can take, and you just go bishop down to e1. Alright, so this next one, they're going to take there. What do they do? They just move there to a5. Is that, no way. Is that just a free bishop? Surely it is more complex than that, and I have to do some thinking. But I think it's just there. Rook h2, rook h2. Oh, let's look at that. Rook. How for... Oh, maybe you thought I was black. Okay. No, we were white on this side for this one. I'm assuming that was the assumption, right? Let's go to this next one. I think you just take the... It really cannot be that easy. But I'm pretty sure you just take the bishop. If this is wrong, no. Because I've done this before. But no, this has to be it. Okay. The queen slides over. Alright. Converting a winning position, the hardest thing to do in chess. Here, though, I don't think it's that hard. I just think you take the queen, rook takes, bc8, rook in, king d8, knight takes. Let's see, queen captures, rook captures. Oh, could you go bishop b7? Rook a7, bishop c6. Because if you take rook takes, bishop c8, rook down, king d8, they could do knight captures b5, and then you couldn't guard them from going knight a7, because knight takes b5 stops king c7. So I think you have to take and go bishop b7. You can't go all the way down, I'm pretty sure. Then you have to go here first. Yeah, because if you... I'll show that in a second too. But you can't... I don't think you can go all the way down. I think you go here, bishop c8, rook c8. That's what I saw at first, Game King. I'll show why I think that's wrong. I think you go bishop up here now. Okay. The reason you can't go bishop c8 is because they have... Yeah, if you go here, the problem with after rook a8 You go king d8. They have knight captures b5. And you can't stop knight a7 from happening, right? It's impossible. And your king can't just get out the way. So this is incoming. You'll still be up, it won't be up anything. Equal material all the way. Knight h6, you just go knight here. Although apparently it's even better to move d4 first. But that's the thing. It's just so forced they can do whatever before they go to it, unfortunately. That was a fun one, though. Let's go to this next one. Here. Alright. Their rook slid over. Knight captures f3. I'm thinking is not the move. Knight takes f3. The king moves over. No. You can take the bishop. You could just take the bishop. And they move, and then you go knight d6. Maybe that's it. I think it's just this. Here, and then knight back. This is not even hanging. Like, I don't understand why this is even... Why do you have to go this far in the puzzle? This is not even hanging. Okay. Why? They're making this too difficult. I have to find a way to hold on to the material here. So the problem I'm thinking is that they could simply bring their other knight in to finish the attack, right? So I think you have to go g5 then to kick the bishop off, because you can't actually add another defender. You're too slow. Because even if you go, say, like king c7, then the same problem persists because your king, then you still couldn't guard it. So if you go g5, pawn captures. Oh, but then bishop e5. That's also an issue. So no, that doesn't work then. This is a little difficult. Knight a6. Knight in. What if you could go rook h6? No, that's too slow, because they can still bring their knight in to f5 or to e4. They have two squares they can go, which is the issue. Knight a6. Knight slides in. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. If the king... Oh, what if you go king e6? King e6. Check down. Yeah. It is king e6. And then king back here to f2. Right? Because you don't want to get back to the problem position. You just go back. Alright, they castle. No way this is the 53rd puzzle. No way this is the 53rd puzzle. I think it's just e5. Yeah, and then they take. Yeah. That's insane. Let me double check though. Is it knight captures b5? If that, you're equal still. Up, take. And then if take equal up, take, yeah. No way. I got that one wrong. No way. You have to take first and then take. What's the problem doing it this way? I thought it was fine. Knight captures. This is still winning. Oh my god, this is still winning. Oh, because they do this. No, but this is... I want to call for a recount. This is winning still. You're +1, but I didn't find the quickest way, unfortunately. So you get that one wrong. So we're at 2 strikes at 52. This is heartbreaking. We're not going to hit our highest of all time today, it's looking like. Unless we get 3 straight. Which I will say, for me at this point, on this difficulty, I'm leaning towards the imaginary, the fictional. That doesn't seem like a realistic outcome. If you go rook here to e2, I can't believe I got that one wrong. That was so free too. That was free. If you go in... and they go... So if you sack the queen, they could just go back. In. So let's see. Here, check, take, check, back, check, they'd have to sack their queen, right? Because of here, 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 here. So then here, 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 here. I don't think anything else works. Yeah. Take. And then. Well, if the rest is right, I'm guessing this part's right. Okay. Two more right, and we get our peak. Okay. We gotta lock in. We're at 53. Alright, they went bishop d7. Come on. Bishop d7. Can you just go knight b5? They can't stay on the diagonal. And then you're going to win the pawn there at the end. Please be it. Please. Oh, wait. Knight b5. Q. b4. c3. qa5. I don't see how you could win the material, though. That's the only problem. Because after... Oh, wait. You could go bishop d2. Yes. Bishop d2 would be the... bd2 here. Attacking the queen. Because c3, they go back. And then you can't take. But if you go here... Yes. Alright, one more right. Come on. One more. Alright. Come on. I can't believe I got that last one wrong, too. Because we would have already had it. And that one was easy. But they took on f3. They did something on f3. Yes, they took on f3. Okay. Rook g8. King h1. qd4. be3. So no. Knight x f3. Anything captures. There's really no infiltration square. It's not looking good. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm like I'm drawing a blank. Rook g8. I feel like king h1 would have to be played then. Oh, wait, no. It's rook g8, king h1, rook g2, rook up. Take. Their bishop's hanging at the end. If you go, I think I see it. I think it's rook g8, king h1, rook g2, attacking the queen. If they go rook f2, rook x f2, qx f2, and then qx f3 check, qx f3, knight x f3, and then the bishop on d2 can't be saved. Please be right. Okay. That's right. This is the move order. I did not account for this move order. But I think now it's just free. Because in the other, they're trying to save it. I think you just do rook capture. Please. No, why is there more parts to this? Why are there more parts? They're playing with me. They're making this... Because they could have just ended it there. We already won the piece. The queen's there on f4. Okay. Or there's mate on f7. So that's something you have to worry about. I'm getting messed with. f7's checkmate. Dude, no way. Come on. Queen captures e6. Rook x e2. No. Oh, it's qf5. qf5. They take the rook, you take their queen. They take the queen, you take... Yes, I think it's queen f5. If you go here, take, and you're fine. You go here, take, you're fine. You go here, take, you're fine. Come on. Yes! That's my highest one. Alright. That is awesome. That's awesome. We're able to get it. Dude, that was a hard one. We're not done yet. Let's see if we can make it a high all time. If we get to 60. With 2 X's already, that feels a little out there. But, oh, rook takes. So I see a few rook takes. Let me show why that doesn't quite work there. We finally got it, though. So, if here you take the rook, there's mate here on f7. And then, so yeah, I mean, that's really it. That's like the only other move you could really go for. And obviously not. Everything else runs into like a similar issue. Like you went there, you take. I was trying to see if there was a mate here that was forced. I think the issue with this, wait, here, is they just go back. Okay, that's the problem there. What's going on, Luffy? How you doing today? All right, we're at our all-time highest, 55. Can we continue? Can we continue? Here, if you take on F4, I think you, can you not just take on F4? You would take on F4, whenever they block up, you can go QH4 after. And if you go QH4 now, they can just go G3. You equal material with check. If the bishop moves, check, overtake. I think you... No way. It can't be that simplistic. But maybe it is. If you take it, their bishop moves, you'll check. King slides over. Maybe the difficulty is figuring out how it's a win. Because I don't see how you could win this. If you take on F4, the bishop slides. You go QH4, the king slides. And the pawn's just kind of sitting there. And then YB, appreciate those likes there. I don't know. Am I getting tricked, though? That's the only thing. Am I getting tricked? Because it seems like you would just take the knight. I feel like that seems like what the only thing you would do. Okay, well, if this is wrong, it's wrong. No, that's wrong. Okay, what do you have to do here? That was a 3,000 rated puzzle. It's queen first. Oh, it's a discovered. Oh my god, it's a discovered. That's something. That's something there. Wow. Okay, well, unfortunately, I am a student. I have to go to the help room. I'll be on tomorrow for hours. I may do more than just the rating climb because we have, I don't know, so much time. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I go to this help room. Hope you all have a great day. If you want to support me, I'm PJ Chess on Instagram, on YouTube, and on TikTok. And PJ Chess